So if I remember correctly, yes, I did have a GNC Gold card when I was going to college. And the big reason was simply because we were buying creatine. And that creatine would be taken in such a way where you would take a scoop and dry heave it, and hopefully you would keep it all down with as much water as possible. So this is dating back to the 90s, and I think creatine is something that probably has been well known for a long time, but was also confined to people that were eating copious amounts of natural creatine sources. I want to start by saying creatine not only is a natural thing that finds it in food, it's clearly a major player in energy production, but it is not creatinine. Creatine and creatinine are two completely different things, and there is zero connection to somebody that consumes a lot of creatine and also happens to have a metric on their blood work that may indicate some type of pathology. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is creatine, number one. Number two, why it's so important and useful. But number three, why it's very safe.
Creatine monohydrate is the most studied supplement that has ever existed. And to Charlie's point, like you go back 20, 30 years ago, it was Purple K and all these different forms of creatine that you find at GNC. But what we've seen recently in the past year is this resurgence of people using creatine and a widening of the type of people using it. Before it was a very bodybuilding supplement. Now we're seeing it's good for people looking for overall health and wellness, overall muscle gain, energy production. There's a lot of neurological benefits to it. And what I want to really discuss is the form of creatine. So ours is creatine monohydrate, which is the most popular form. And what you've seen now over the past couple of years is because creatine's gaining so much momentum, a lot of companies are coming out with these different forms of creatine, like creatine HCl, or they have different patented forms. And the reason why we went with creatine monohydrate is that it just works really well. And there wasn't any need to invest in a more expensive form because the benefits really didn't present itself. At Spoken, we're always trying to do the best that we can and produce the best product that we can. So if there was actual reasoning to go to a better form, quote unquote, we would have gone that way. But creatine monohydrate's undefeated. So like all of our products, it's NSF certified for sports. So you know it's very clean. So it's a very clean, high quality creatine monohydrate at 5 grams a serving.
Melissa, talk about the dosages, and might be more than what people think for different reasons. What are we using it for, and why should we be taking this?
Yeah, so our scoop size is going to give you 5 grams. However, depending on your goal and your body size, you might look to supplement further. When we see creatine being used for, muscle, 5 grams, depending on your body size, could be enough. However, if you are 250, 300 pounds, I wouldn't be recommending the same serving size that I would for someone who's perhaps 175 or 180. So that's the first thing. We have a muscular effect. If we want to get creatine to the brain, we're looking at something closer to the 10 gram. We're seeing with recent studies with creatine becoming popular for mitochondrial support and even cognition and memory in doses even higher than.
Melissa, is there any reason somebody shouldn't be taking creatine?
No, absolutely not.
Is creatine creatinine?
There is a major difference, say creatine and creatinine.
So, because they're spelled similarly, does that...
It could be confusing, but can be separate.
If I overload on creatine, should my creatinine go up?
Should not be affected at all.
So I would suggest that you do your own research for why you would take creatine. More importantly, why is this creatine monohydrate that Jordan talked about, the different dosages that Melissa talked about, and you can find why you would be taking it for training, performance, sleep, cognitive ability. There's probably about a half a dozen other things that you wouldn't even think of where creatine can be very safe and useful.